What's up, my friends? Today is a one-of-a-kind video. I take you through a small 4-measure guitar loop and show you how I build a full-fledged arrangement and song out of it. This video is titled From Instagram to Spotify, and the idea is that you can take small pieces of social media content and build full songs out of them that you can release and monetize. You know, as musicians, we're really just monetizing air, right? That's our gist. Anyhow, this video was originally an Ableton Live Chicago User Group session for Facebook Live, so you'll see me take some Q&A from the audience, and we also have our host Orville Kline and second guest Brillion. So they're hooting and hollering with me, asking additional questions. I'm really excited to share this with you because one thing I think people really struggle with is how to get from a small seedling of an idea to a beautiful garden of a song. Let me show you my daily creative process. It features some really cool things that are exclusive to Ableton Live 11, as well as just my daily headspace. So thanks for watching. Let's do this.
All right, it looks like we are live. What's happening, everyone? My name is Orville Kline. I'm your friendly neighborhood Ableton certified trainer here on behalf of the Ableton User Group Chicago. So Derek, what's going on, man? You're gonna be going first tonight. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I love it. Love talking to you guys. I'm live from Austin, Texas.
You have your Spotify pulled up right now with a new track you just put out. Is that correct?
Yeah, can we listen to a little bit of it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sound good. So it's a brand new track, came out last Friday. It's called Zen Saturday. It's a collaboration with Kromanichi, who's a great producer, beat maker, real like boom bappy kind of style, and more than that. But he was originally from Dallas and now he lives in DC. And so let's check out like a minute of it. Cool. So that's the latest. Yeah, if you go to my Spotify, I've got like a Cloudchord Essentials that has all the tunes that I've produced. So there's quite a few of them in there. So check it out if you got the time.
Just toss your Spotify link in the comments too if you guys want to check that out. So make sure you follow them on Spotify. Looks like you have almost 1 million monthly listeners. Is that correct? About 861,747. Something like that.
With a dot.
Not bad. I've broke 1 mil a couple times, you know.
Nice.
It's good. It's good to. I'm super thankful for the success, but I also try to not let it drive my creativity, you know.
Awesome.
But yeah, that last tune, I want to talk about the process of it and maybe, you know, envelop that into my daily process that I can show you. That particular experience with Kromanichi, he and I had talked about collaborating for a while, and I sent him a handful of guitar things that were the things that you heard in the beginning. And he basically built a tune out of it and then sent it back to me, and I mixed it and mastered it and did like some finalization on it. And what that is a testament to is like daily creativity, because when he hit me up or we were talking, I had already made a bunch of stuff that I felt like would work for him. So I just kind of pulled from my body of work because I make like little guitar riffs every day. So part of my flow, and I talk about this with a lot of my students and just like fans and friends, is that I don't try to I don't have gargantuan daily goals of making like the most epic song or anything, more than like I try to make 15 seconds of new guitar music every day. When you think about it that way, it feels very doable, right? And I'm not even talking about beats, I'm talking about just guitars. So think if your forte is making drum sequences and stuff like that, that's, you know, what, 4 to 8 measures. If you think about it like that is, I have to do that every day. You will do that every day, and then you'll do more because you're already in the flow, right? So part of my daily flow, like I said, is I come up with like a 4 to 8 measure progression and then just go from there. So let's take a sample day here where all I got is this little riff and it sounds like this. Hear that all right?
Yep. Sounded good.
Pretty immaculate vibes.
Cool. So that is just a, you know, little guitar chord melody thing. And what I probably would do is like play that along with a drum break to kind of get my creative juices going. So here's just another audio clip. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with my guitar, because so many people ask me about that. It's 100% in the box. So right now I'm playing my Paul Reed Smith. And so check this out. The only thing I have going before my interface, I have an Apollo Twin, is it's called a Cali 76 compressor. It's by Origin. It's just a guitar pedal. I've also used cheaper ones like the MXR at times. So I'm a big fan of compressing before the interface. So I just get a nice sound. So if I even take away any amp sims, here's what I sound like. I mean, it's significantly darker, more dull. Then I turn this on.
Oh yeah, it's night and day.
Right. But even right here, the thing is, it's already being compressed and it's clean. Like I'm not crunching out. I don't have too many artifacts, so that when I do saturate it and compress it, it cuts through, but it's not like crunching out. So this is a Live 11 device rack that I made. And let's check this out. So it's just a single chain. And look at this. It is all, let me close the actual chain, sorry. It's all Ableton devices. So we got tuner, pedal, EQ8, just kind of your run-of-the-mill stuff, right? Auto filter. It's the classic situation of like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, because all of these devices, yeah, they're great, they're utilitarian, but nothing is crazy. I don't have like a $2,000 plugin on this signal chain or all, you know? So, and I'm using the amp in the cabinet. Check this out. If I just turn off the amp in the cabinet, let's listen to the difference. Then I put it on. How about that?
Ableton stock is so good. Their stock plugins are really good.
Totally. And saturator and warm tube kind of functioning as maybe like a tube screamer distortion pedal that's like on 1 or 2, and then the warm tube would be like the tubes in my amp. So if I turn them off versus on, it cuts through a little more, right? So that's what I'm using for my tone. And one of my favorite things about Live is now we have these snapshots. So I've got a tutorial called Super Macros. You can kind of go through a bunch of different devices I made for 11. But one of the things I love with snapshots is it's so easy to create presets inside one device rack. So like here's my clean, kind of neo soul wah thing. The edge, this is like my tribute to U2. A lot of delay. 60 surf. Or SpongeBob, right? Oh, we were talking about Eno before this whole thing started. I was telling
you literally
guys
have
that Brian
you have an Eno preset. Wow, that's funny.
Preset. So it's like this.
That's sweet,
right? And check this out. That is this macro called Octave Up. And that is grain delay right here, using the pitch. So pretty good, pretty cool. If you wanted to rock, named after Angus Young from AC/DC. And then the last one, you gotta make a weird one at the end.
That's cool.
Some more grain delay on that patch.
Exactly. So, yeah, this has been pretty fun. I'm actually going to do a Live 11 guitar preset video soon, but I kind of want to get even a few more in there. So people go like, wow, like that's the Hendrix setting, or that's the, you know, or whatever it is. So let's go into like my flow, my typical flow. So like I said, I've got these two elements, right? So I think the first thing I would do is maybe come up with another layer for my guitar channel. So when I'm like all about hotkeys and just moving quickly so that I can just focus on creativity and not get too bogged down with tech stuff. So Command D or Control D, if you're on a PC, duplicates whatever you have selected. You know, that's usually a system-wide hotkey. So now what that did is just allowed me to create a new audio track with my guitar amp on it. So it just makes it real fast. And I go over the push here, record, enable it, and maybe I'll select a new sound or a new snapshot. So I'll go over here to my push, make sure fixed length is on. 4 bars for those of you playing along at home. Fixed length, just it's like an automated clip recording length. So now I can hit it, 1, 2, it'll give me 4 measures and go back into playback. So that's a beautiful thing about fixed length is it can go right into playback mode and it's hands-free for me. So let me color code this so it's easy to see. Now I'm going to call this riff, and let's color code it like that. Color riff here, and I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to do like a top layer. Let's use like maybe how about that Eno setting?
Yeah.
See how I can get that to work. So here we go. 1, 2, 3rd part. I can do one more. Cool. So I'll call this one Space. And how about we I'm a big fan of like the as you go color coding. I think it's just easier to like stay creative that way. Before I leave like recording guitar, here's a fun trick that I like to do. Is this riff here, this single note riff. One of my favorite things to do on single note audio clips, whether it's like a vocal or a flute or a single note guitar riff, I'll duplicate it and then I'll pitch the duplication. I'll go into clip view down here and I'll pitch it or transpose it down an octave here, and then I'll throw it in complex mode. And let me solo that up. You can hear what it sounds like. I'll go over to my device and maybe pull some of the reverb so it cleans it up a little bit. So these two together now, it's a little fatter, right?
Warm.
Yeah.
It really fills up the space. That's nice.
It did, right? It did. So let's do this. I'm gonna jump over to play in some like push note mode kind of stuff, and then I'll go back and like affect my guitars. Because realistically, I like focus on music for round one, and I don't do a ton of sound design because I'm coming, like, I think of myself as a chef. Like, this is me making the burger right now. Like, I will figure out what the cilantro is and what the cheese is and all that stuff. But right now, I actually have to make the burger and the potato wedges. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta set the foundation, you know?
Exactly. So before I go to no mode, let's talk about my drums here. So I'm sure you guys know who Kalen Ellis is. He's one of our favorites, right? He just makes some of the most bad ass stuff. So this is one of his drum breaks. So I'm not gonna sit here and like build a whole tune out of just this drum break and leave it as is. Like I gotta chop it up. Like that's kind of part of the hustle, part of the community, right? It's like, let me chop you, bro. So over here is a drum rack. So this is similar kind of thing that I did with my guitar device rack, but this is drum rack. So look, I have various snapshots here, and it's a real simple drum rack: kick, snare, hat, percussion, and I have a handful of just snapshots that are starting points. So here's one, here's the second one, 4. AM radio, and the last one. Let's try. Wow. So that's a good starting point. So one of the things I like to do with these drum breaks is audio to MIDI with drums. So I can just take an audio clip here and drag it onto a drum rack, which is MIDI. And see, I got that little note there that's coming up. If I let it go, converting vibe drums to MIDI. All right, so now it just essentially transcribed that, right? And here's at first glance what it sounds like. It's cool, but a couple of changes I would make. How about like that percussion? That percussion dub delay is gonna drive me crazy. So now we got. And if I put these together, let's see how they fit. So, and what I can even do. Right? So, raise your hand if you think that percussion is going to be annoying after a while. I'm going to raise my hand because it's cool, but I think it's a little bit overkill, right? One of my favorite things about 11 is the chants. Little menu down here. So check this out. Here's my percussion. I could hit 0 and just turn it off. That would be tight. But what if I split the difference? Keep them on, and I'll pull down the chance. So I'm messing with the probability. So now there is a 40% chance that any of these notes will play. Way less often. Maybe I'll even pull them down like to 30.
That's super cool. I'm still on 10,
Thanks.
so it's neat to see this stuff.
Right. And one thing, how about some of these like pickups that aren't on just like your straight 2 and 4 for the snares? How about I shift click them and pull down the probability of them as well. So now all the notes that are blue down here in my chance window, I'm going to pull them down. So I still have these possibilities, but it's not just like a barrage of notes.
Kind of creates more space.
Yeah, exactly. And I could even go to my macros, like that percussion. I feel like there might be a better sound, so I can turn my macro. I can find different sound. How about that side stick? That's a little more on cue.
Yeah, I like that.
So one more step here. My drum break is like a full spectrum drum break, meaning it goes all the way down into the sub frequencies. So that's cool. But now that I've got a big fat kick drum over here, my drum rack, I'm going to pull the lows in these vibe drums. So I'll start with 250 to pull it out. Yeah. And one thing I like is these circuit algorithms here. So then you get this drive knob that appears if you click on one of the extra circuit algorithms, and it gives the percussion a little more sheen. Yeah, what's the difference? It's like compression and saturation in one almost. And then the last thing I'll do, because this is beat music, is I'm going to side chain this compression to the kick drum of my drum kit.
That's
so
key.
Yeah, and one of the totally key, huge, you know, like you listen to like Flying Lotus, like everything is sidechain the kick
Yeah,
drum, right?
it's yeah.
So,
I can't do drums without sidechain.
Sidechain to the kick drum. Yeah, so let's get out of the way. So here's what we got. All right, time for bass. So I got an instance of wavetable here. It's pretty, it's not too crazy. It's just a couple subs. And for those of you following along at home of the Live 11 updates, we have MPE, MIDI Polyphonic Expression. That means on the push, we can map pressure or aftertouch. So in this patch, I have my aftertouch mapped to the filter frequency and resonance. So basically what that means is as soon as I hit the note, I can adjust my pressure and it will adjust those parameters in my filter. Kind of wild, right? So still got fixed length on 4 measures. So let me record some bass. Here we go. And you can see in the MIDI clip here, I can open up my pressure variations here. So, and let's solo that up. Wherever you see the wiggles, you hear filter wiggles. So that's kind of a nice, MPE. In this circumstance, I'm using it for just some more subtle movement in my beat, because with beat related music and like lo-fi kind of stuff, it's really easy for your creativity to get into like a loop based listening format, and it just kind of sounds like the same over and over again. And honestly, that's like why a lot of lo-fi beats are like 42 seconds long, because like they said what they had to say and it's like, get out of here, go to the next one, right? So I like to, have a little bit more variation there. So, and let me do one more thing here. How about my piano? So this was a rack that I also built in 11. It's using the Spitfire piano, the upright piano, which is pretty cool. But even more cool is that I am using, let me close the chain here, the expression control Max for Live patch for that I can map my aftertouch, which again is the pressure. See, if I press a note and I wiggle it, you can see aftertouch having variations here. So I mapped that all the way down here to my amount of my chorus, because chorus now has vibrato. So vibrato is like kind of the ultimate lo-fi thing. Those are the LFOs or the pitch wiggles, Like a lot of it's like to use the Volf comp with the LFO knob. That's pretty fun, right? So here's the fun thing is that I can hit it and I can wiggle it and I'll get even more lo-fi stuff. And then after that, I have an envelope follower. This is also a Max for Live patch. So see, it is tracking the envelope or the wave of my notes, and it mapped them to the rate of the chorus. Forest through the trees, what I got here is every time I hit a note, my rate jumps up a little bit, so I get a wiggle on the attack, and then I'm free to wiggle it after. So it sounds like that. And with MPE, you can do it. You don't have to do it on all the notes. You can do it on some. So I can play a normal chord and then wiggle like a top note. So it's just that top one. So
cool.
it gives
That's
you
really
a lot
neat.
of more like creative expression, right? So let's make another clip here. All right. So, how are we doing? Like about 5 minutes left?
Yeah, we're doing
Push
great on
to the
time.
arrangement view.
Yeah.
This
Right
sounds
on.
super sick. This is really cool.
Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and save this just in case the gods, you know, happen to rain down upon us. So here's one thing that I like to show people, beat makers, whether they're when I'm just riffing with experienced people or newcomers, is how to like make a mountain out of a molehill, or just you know, right now I only have a bunch of 4 measure clips. It's not that much music in and of itself. So it's really easy to like get into the beat mode, and then it feels boring after 30 seconds because the same thing's happening over and over again. But what we can do is I will duplicate this scene. How about 4 times? So now I got 5 total scenes. So now what I'm going to go do is go through and turn clips off with the number 0 on my keypad. And so I will just slowly stagger elements of this beat in one at a time. And what that allows me to do is kind of get an instant arrangement, at least that I can work with, right? So let's see, what else am I missing here? We'll put space in here, and then at the end, we'll go no drums and no bass. And a lot of times I would rename them just for the sake of, you know, if you make a lot of music and you pick this up 2 weeks later, it's like, oh yeah, this is what I did in that scene. So I can do guitar, and then drums in, bass in, riff, space, or wait, I would call this one breakdown. That kind of thing, you know, and you can always color code them as well if you want, that kind of thing. So let's now go over here to my arrangement view. I've got nothing. Let me get rid of this loop bracket. So what I'm going to do is record these scenes onto into arrangement view. And if you look at my push, you can see me hit these scenes. But what I will do also is flip my screen to be an arrangement view so you can kind of see both sides at once. So here we go. 2, scene 1, go. So that's scene 1 right there. Here comes scene 2. Added the drums. Here comes the bass. Top. Last one. Cool. So within what, 25 minutes, we got 1.5 minutes worth of music. Not a bad day, right? I can go off to lunch or hang out. So at this point, you know, I might try to build a B section, maybe take a solo and use comping, or, you know, even at the, say I was done for the day on this particular song. Part of my workflow, I'm a huge fan of, obviously, number 1, saving the set because you want to save your work. But what I see a lot of people, or not enough people in my opinion, do is render all your work at the end of every session, even if you only did a couple things. So I give myself a folder. Let me show you my desktop here. If I go to my Finder, I have a folder. These are all my whips here, works in progress. And so every song like has a folder that has a home. So even if it's just, you know, a beat that doesn't even have guitar yet or something, I put it in beats and I'll just label it by BPM and key. And so that allows, I'm a big fan of being able to listen outside of the DAW to your process. You know, you go out to dinner or hang out with some friends, you come back and you're in the zone. It's kind of nice just to like hit your space bar and flip through a bunch of beats and see like which ones could be married to each other for an EP or that kind of thing. So yeah, at the end of this process, I would render this and then, you know, I maybe add it to, since it originally started as like a lick of the day, I'd put it in my lick of the day folder. And then there it is. And then later on, when I'm in a different headspace, I can listen to it. You know, I use notes too on the Mac. Check this out. I mean, I have so many notes here to keep track of all my ideas. That way, like I said, I'm hitting the space bar on a folder that's an upcoming EP. If I have notes, turn the hi-hat down, you know, make the bass enter later, that kind of stuff. It's easy for me to keep track of all those kind of things. So that's my general beat making process. Any questions?
We had one. Now's your, if you guys are tuned in on Facebook Live, now's your chance to get some questions. And we have one question off the bat coming in from Chase Steezy. He's asking, do you sell or share your racks? Where can he find them? Basically, I think a lot of people are thinking that.
Absolutely. Gumroad.com/Cloudchord. That's where all my racks are. So, and if you look in most of my my tutorials, in the description, there'll be like whatever the download is. So yeah, I've got a live 10 guitar rack, which obviously works with 11. And so I've released quite a few of these things.
I'm linking your Gumroad page in the comments right now too. So
thank you.
Cool. I guess
how are we doing on time?
We're doing good on time. We're right on schedule. So I guess let's just say that you get to the point you started this beat. What's your next steps in finishing it? Where would you go next if you were gonna try to make this a final release project?
I think the next thing I would do is get a little bit more material with it. And I think maybe the first two options that stand out to me would be create some kind of bridge or maybe do like some kind of solo guitar feature kind of thing. And let me just show you something real quick that I like to do. This handy convert button over here on the push. We all like that, right? So what I can do is I got this clip selected, right? If I select convert, now I'm going to convert to simpler. I have all kinds of possibilities here: simpler, drum pad, harmony, etc. I'm going to do simpler and watch what happens on my screen here. Boom, it created a new instance of simpler with this guitar riff in it with my guitar rack on top of it. So it's going to be all the same sounds. And I'm a big fan of slice mode. So if I go to, let me slice by manual. So slice is the third menu down here. And what I can do, so I might that kind of thing, you know, chop myself up. So, or I would send it to somebody else, you know, make it a collaboration. So
awesome.
Yeah, those would be my next two possibilities.
G Legger
Cool.
in the comments. G Legger says, I can't believe I never thought of the rendering organization thing while still in process. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great tip to really, it could be sometimes I'll end up like trying to find a project that I worked on 2 years ago, and then I'll have a whole bunch of project folders, and then you'll try to open them up and you might not have the same plugins working or the same samples and stuff doesn't open. So definitely having a render of your project will save you a lot of time and energy.
Yes. You know, I work with the Soul Food horns a lot. They're based out of Rotterdam, and I completed a full tune with them, and I somehow lost the entire project folder. I still had their stems, and thankfully, because I rendered it, I was able to recreate it. You know, I didn't get it exactly, but I was literally able to put that mix in the timeline and just reverse engineer my own work. You know.
Nice. Yeah, that gives you that.
Can I just take a couple minutes and show you one more thing?
Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So let's just say this is like maybe the last thing I was gonna do for the day before the render. I got fired up again. Let's do a riff, because all my recording was in session view, right? So let's do some recording in arrangement. Let's say I'm gonna make this my solo section right here. So I'm gonna put some loop brackets around it. And let me record a few passes on my guitar. So what I can do here is right click, show take lanes, okay? And since this is a brand new track, I have take lanes here already because I duplicated my first track. So let me clean it up, and it's gonna show take lanes. So I'm gonna go through, let's say 3 or 4 times, and we'll see each take, and then I'll show you how I would use comping on a beat like this. So here we go. One more. All right, so we got 4 takes there. And let me show you how in just a matter of minutes I would, and this doesn't have to be a solo thing. This can be little bit parts. This can be chords, this can be spacey stuff. So I right click to show the take lanes. So if we look down here, the top is my comp, which we're listening to, and then these are the 4 passes. Whatever lane has the same color as the comp up top is what we're hearing. And so you're going to naturally hear the most recent one, which is the 4th take. But I can select these speaker icons and listen to individual tracks. So let's say I want to use that first measure of take 1. I select it and I hit return, bumps it up to the comp. Let's listen to the rest of that take. That was kind of cool. So I'll select that, bump that up. Let's see what we had in take 2. That was kind of cool. I may put the harmonic in there. So I think really what we need is like maybe the 2nd phrase. I mean, that could even be a riff that I harmonize later on in the tune. So I might make a mental note and save that. And I could even, check this out, Command T opens up a new track. I could drag this one down there, and I'll just save that for later, and I'll call this riff. Then last take. How about we'd use that 4th phrase? All right, so now I can deactivate that speaker, and we can listen to what my comp is. So over time, you know, I can tweak a little bit. The beauty is I can take it off the grid, you know, and pull my clips one way or the other, and really kind of finesse how to get these takes to work with each other. I don't even think I need that last little bit. Just let that ring out. So here it is. So there you go. That's taking in a nutshell. Or
That's great.
Comping.
Sweet. Yeah.
That's a huge time saver. You could have recorded a loop onto the same track in earlier versions of Live, but being able to just quickly see all of them on top of each other is huge.
Huge.
Live
What
11.
we used to do is just, yeah, like you're talking about. I used to do this with a lot of producers. I go in their studio and they'd put a loop on, and I'd play like 200 bars, and I'd be like, man, that's just like such a horrible way to work. Like scrolling through, and you know, you find a lick, but you don't know the context of where it's going to sound good. And I mean, this is just, it makes it so much more intuitive.
Definitely.
And then I can close my take lanes, and then, you know, move on and probably do another render with the solo on it. So
Awesome. Well, that was great, Derek. I got some great tips. I think everyone tuned in, got some good feedback. So again, check out your Gumroad. I got it in the, check out your YouTube channel and Spotify. Those are all linked in the,
thank you so much.
in the comments.
Thanks for watching my dad's videos. His name's Derek and he makes music as Cloudchord, like his hat.
I'm also a guitarist and Ableton certified trainer. Every Tuesday I upload new videos, so if you learned something, be sure to
Like and subscribe. And his hat is really cool.